Hey team, Adam from Built Beyond 40 here. Okay, so the question is, how much protein do we really need in order to build muscle? It's a question that's been up for debate probably as long as people have been lifting weights and trying to get strong and increase muscle size, right? So I think also the older you get, and there are some studies out there to support it, the more protein you need just because you don't absorb and convert it as well as you age. So the common idea with protein is that you should be getting around about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And as a general rule of thumb, I think that's actually a pretty good place to start, because you can either go up or down depending on what you think your body needs. And the way you know is the indicators are, if you're not getting enough protein, generally you find you're really sluggish, you're finding it hard to recover from workouts. Okay, it's taking a long time between workouts, especially when you're in that part of your gaining cycle where you're really pushing hard and you're really training intensely. Now, some muscle soreness the next day, or even up to 48 hours after training a muscle is fine. You generally want to get up feeling the day after a workout like you've done something, right? But that shouldn't be so debilitating that, you're really stiff and you're finding it hard to, sit on the toilet if you've just done a lower body workout, stuff like that. So chances are, if that's the case, you might be running into some overtraining. And if you're not getting in enough protein, generally you tend to hit the wall much quicker. The other thing is you just general lethargic feeling. So you need that protein, right? It's like wanting to build a house and then only having enough material to get sort of, the first level built, okay? Because you just don't have the material. And that's a really good way to look at protein, right? It just, if you've done everything right and your training is on point, if your nutrition's a little bit lacking, particularly your macro breakup, and when it comes to your protein, you're just not quite getting enough in, it means you're triggering the response, but you're not fueling it correctly enough for that adaptation to actually take place. So what I recommend you do is start off with around about 1 gram per pound of body weight. Now, for those of you who watching this from America, you understand pounds. For all my Aussie and English people who working in kilograms, best way to do it is just take whatever you weigh in kilograms, multiply it by 2.2, and that's going to give you your body weight in pounds. And then you take that number and you multiply it by 1 gram of protein. So for example, if you weigh 100 kilos and you multiply that by 2.2, that'll give you your weight in pounds at 220 pounds. You then multiply 1 gram of protein by 220, and that will basically give you how much protein you need to be ingesting within a day, and that is 220 grams of protein. Now, on the other side of the scale, if you're ingesting too much protein, generally speaking, the things you want to look out for is you end up just peeing most of it out. I generally tend to find that my stools tend to get a little hard. They tend to get a little bit like concrete, and I know I need to up my fiber. And actually, fiber is a topic that I'm going to be talking about at some stage as well, because it's also very important. Protein sources, like I've said to you before, stick with really good, clean, whole protein sources. Stuff like, chicken breast, even a little bit of chicken thighs. Okay, it is a little bit fattier. Fish, tuna, white fish, some ground beef mince, generally the leaner type of, you can usually get extra lean ground beef. They're really good sources. Red meat's great, it's fine, but you want to get some leaner cuts. I'll talk a little bit about macro breakdown and where your fat levels should be in a later post. But keeping an eye on your fat macro fats is very important as well. I'll get into that in another video. People always ask me about protein supplementation in terms of things like protein bars, protein powders. Look, I've used them on and off in the past, and these days, you know, there's a lot of conjecture about whether or not you should be taking protein powders, them not being very good for you, that kind of stuff. Currently, I am taking a protein supplement just because I have a fairly busy day, and sometimes they really help when it comes to substituting a meal, especially if I need 30 plus grams of protein. It's just easy to do, and it fits in with my lifestyle very easily. Especially if I've finished a workout and I know I'm not going to be able to get to food, you know, within an hour and a half. It's good to have a protein shake with me that I can down and absorb quickly into the muscle. So they do have their place. I would recommend sourcing, you know, something where the, you know, grass-fed stuff, stuff that doesn't have any sugar in it, or very minimal. That's kind of where you want to go. I normally go with an isolate as well. That's basically the profile that I use for my protein powders. So start with, if you need a take home from this, it's like start with 1 gram per pound of body weight and just work from there. You may need a little bit more. You may need a little bit less. Usually that scale is somewhere around 0.8 to 1 gram usually does very well. So just play around with it, see what you need. Indicators that you don't have enough protein, generally taking you longer to recover between workouts, generally feeling like your muscles are sore for longer than they should be. And you remember, you need that protein to help you recover well. All right, guys, I hope that's answered a few questions. Until I catch you next time, be good.